What happens when two economic powerhouses collide over tariffs? We might be about to find out. With Trump slapping a 25% tariff on German autos and Berlin threatening to respond with everything we have, the world is watching a high-stakes economic standoff unfold. Could this trade dispute between longtime allies escalate into something that disrupts the entire global economy? With $1.8 trillion in US-EU and US-Canada trade flows potentially at risk, the consequences could be massive for everyone involved.
For Germany, the car industry is king, and that key sector looks set to face a harsh new reality soon.
I mean, these fees are overall a disaster for the free trade and for every market, not only for the European or Asian markets, but also for the American markets.
Germany takes off the gloves after Trump's auto tariffs. Germany, Europe's industrial giant and economic powerhouse, has finally had enough. After the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on automobile imports, Germany's response has been unexpectedly fierce. On March 27, 2025, Berlin abandoned its typically cautious diplomatic approach and made it clear they wouldn't back down. A senior German government official sent shivers through global markets by declaring that nothing is ruled out when it comes to retaliation. The German automotive sector, home to Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Volkswagen, has been hit hard, with exports to the US exceeding $35 billion by 2024. As sales slowed and production lines faltered due to Trump's tariffs, public pressure mounted. German trade unions have taken to the streets demanding action, while workers across the auto industry are calling for their government to stand firm. We can't keep quiet about such a unilateral measure, Berlin officials stated as German car exports fell sharply. This reaction marks a dramatic shift from Germany's traditionally measured approach to US relations. It's not just cars, a multi-front economic response. Germany's retaliation plans go far beyond the automotive sector. The Berlin government has made it clear our measures will not be limited to automobiles. Tech giants are squarely in the crosshairs, with Germany threatening to revive the long-debated digital services tax that would hit American social media and e-commerce platforms hard. But that's just the beginning. Germany is considering a multi-pronged approach. Additional duties on American vehicles and electronic products, tariffs on US agricultural exports, new regulations making it harder for US producers to access European markets, potential restrictions on American airlines, taxes specifically targeting Silicon Valley tech companies. As a German government spokesperson bluntly stated on March 28, if necessary, we can also impose additional duties on American vehicles, American electronic products, or agriculture. This broadening of the battlefield makes the conflict much more dangerous for both sides. The Berlin administration's statement that taxes on US tech giants are also on our agenda has reignited the digital services tax debate that failed to materialize years ago due to US opposition. Their new approach is clear. If Trump is hitting us on automobiles, steel, and energy, then our hands are not tied on digital taxes. American tech companies could face significant new costs in Europe if Germany follows through. United Front, Europe and Canada against America. Germany isn't standing alone. This time, the entire European Union appears to be rallying behind Berlin's tough stance. The European Commission leader declared that US auto tariffs are a direct blow to the European economy, and we have our measures ready, signaling unprecedented EU unity. France has been particularly vocal, with leaders stating, "We are not afraid of a tough trade fight with the United States." French involvement means American wine, cheese, and agricultural exports could face retaliatory tariffs. Italy, too, has concerns about fashion and food exports to the US. The situation becomes even more precarious with Canada potentially entering the fray. Experts warn that if Germany becomes the engine and drags the EU behind it, Canada could announce its own retaliatory package at the same time, putting crushing pressure on the US. This would create a dangerous, two-front trade conflict for the Trump administration, facing tariffs from both Europe and its northern neighbor simultaneously. The combined effect would disrupt critical supply chains and potentially cut off energy supplies from Canada while simultaneously losing access to European markets. If you find this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us reach more viewers like you. Now let's chart the next course and break down what's coming next. Economic stakes. Jobs and trade at risk on both sides. The economic consequences of this escalating trade war could be severe. Experts estimate that tens of thousands of workers on both sides could lose their jobs if the conflict spirals out of control. German automotive and machinery exports to the US would plummet, while American tech and agricultural sectors would suffer from European retaliation. The situation has created a complex dynamic for German companies. German car manufacturers face a difficult choice: either absorb the tariff costs, hurting profits and potentially forcing layoffs, or relocate more production to the US, which would be expensive and logistically challenging given potential parts tariffs. American farmers would lose crucial European markets for their products, creating domestic political pressure on Trump. With US-EU and US-Canada trade flows totaling an enormous $1.8 trillion, the stakes couldn't be higher. As one analyst put it, trade wars have proven time and again that there are no winners. Yet both sides appear ready to pay a steep economic price in this high-stakes standoff. A new era in German foreign policy, no more backing down. What makes this conflict particularly significant is the fundamental shift in Germany's approach. In the post-Merkel era, German leaders are showing unprecedented resolve. The German finance minister declared, "We will not hesitate to defend our national interests. The US may be our largest trading partner, but this does not mean a one-sided relationship." This represents a dramatic evolution in German foreign policy. As one official put it, "We won't give in anymore. We have made enough gestures." Even facing potential damage to its prized automotive industry, Germany appears willing to stand firm in the name of national honor and European interests. Public opinion strongly supports this tougher stance. A common sentiment heard in Berlin street interviews: "Trump attacked us with a 25% tax on our cars. Why shouldn't we fight back?" The German media has been filled with headlines like "We will not bow to Trump," and "They've imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum before. We've been patient, but now we can't accept them targeting our automobile sector." Germany seems ready to take off what one analyst called its long-hidden mask of diplomatic courtesy, with potentially far-reaching consequences for transatlantic relations. The economy minister warned Washington that such high tariffs would have devastating consequences for world trade. Yet Berlin appears prepared to weather the storm. The global economy hangs in the balance. Who will blink first? The crucial question now is whether either side will back down before serious economic damage occurs. Trump has doubled down, threatening that if the EU and Canada unite, we will impose tariffs that are bigger than we planned. Meanwhile, Germany insists, "Enough is enough. We will respond to these tariffs that turn into aggression." Some observers believe European and Canadian retaliation would force Trump to the negotiating table. Others aren't so sure, pointing to his determination to win at all costs. American business lobbies might eventually pressure their government to compromise, as US companies would face significant difficulties accessing European markets if Germany retaliates at full capacity. Everyone is wondering whether industry, agriculture, and technology lobbies in the US will try to put the brakes on their own government. If Germany follows through on its threats, American companies could face major challenges in the European market, leading to domestic criticism of Trump. Add Canada to the mix, and the US risks losing energy and parts supplies from the north while simultaneously facing barriers to automotive and technology markets in Europe, a devastating double blow. Despite the harsh rhetoric, there's still hope for a last-minute compromise. But with each passing day, positions harden on both sides. The headline, "Germany may strike back against Trump tariffs," with everything it has, no longer seems like hyperbole, but rather a summary of a harsh reality. What's next for this global economic showdown? As this high-stakes game of chicken continues between Washington and Berlin, the entire global trade system hangs in the balance. Germany's surprising show of strength is challenging the US president's America First approach, potentially creating an economic crisis that could leave the world economy with irreparable wounds. The coming weeks will be critical as both nations navigate this complex diplomatic and economic standoff. What's your take on this escalating situation? Do you think Germany will follow through on its threats? Or is this all just negotiating tactics? And will the US administration back down or double down on their position? Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses and economic insights like this. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Feel free to check out our other videos on global trade relations. There's plenty more to explore.